Yes, we need to record this.
Yes, just so we don't have to get everything off of Twitch for the VOD, we can just have it ready to go.
Okay. Welcome everybody. It's fun looking at everybody's different usernames.
Very funny indeed.
Mort, Callison, Chris Mickey, Razor259. Blackbird is the same. Wolvie is the same.
Fester's still the same.
Yellow Hornet. Welcome to the most dysfunctional, technically difficult stream I've ever done.
Yeah, and it's for reasons we can't even figure out because it's spotty.
Yeah.
And like it would just randomly start working again. Like, we have no idea.
Yeah, it's nothing that we can control. So we're gonna try it over here, and if it doesn't work here, then fuck it. We'll run all the fights and everything off stream and record it and just put it up as a YouTube video. So another one of the reasons why I prefer people to use Patreon over the YouTube Super Chats is because YouTube Super Chats don't work on Twitch.
Yep.
So thank you once again to all of our patrons for supporting the league and making it possible for us to continue streaming no matter where we end up streaming. At this rate, we'll probably end up streaming live on TikTok or some bullshit.
Yeah, we can do something. It's fine. We'll make it work.
Thank you once again. $10 a month on Patreon to be a stream sponsor and make this possible for us. Your last video here was 2 years ago. Yes, I don't stream on Twitch, and the only times I did stream on Twitch, I think I was playing like Kerbal Space Program or something, or maybe it was connected to my PlayStation. I don't remember.
I saw VODs on baseball, so probably the PlayStation.
Oh yeah, it was probably playing MLB 20.
Yeah.
It was the last time I dicked around.
I haven't used mine in like 4 years just to watch my cousin play Rocket League, so...
Yeah.
Oh, Rookie says you did Skyrim. Okay, that's fair.
Oh yes, because I was running around a room not seeing the next thing that I needed, and she was just
yeah, and
screaming.
Rookie's so OCD knowing where everything is already in that game.
Yeah.
Right,
Where did we leave off?
We left off at the beginning of match number 7, right at the start of something, luckily.
All right.
It's going to be the Robot Rebels out of Detroit, Michigan.
Yes.
They're taking on the Levantine Alliance.
Levantine's been good.
Interesting. Detroit against the Middle East.
That sounds strangely correct for the way that history has gone.
Yeah, that's weird. Oh no, Cora's playing Skyrim right now. Do not listen to anything Rookie says.
Yes.
Please.
If you see any floating cat people, remember that they're just on drugs and they don't need assistance.
Yep.
And I say that because I think I have a clip of that on my Twitch. Okay. Match 7. The Robot Rebels have Overclock, the piston-poking spikes as the weapon. Invertible Robot. Levantine Alliance has VSSV, the vertical spinner. Efficient and deadly and doesn't give a shit about looking good. Ladies and gentlemen and non-binary friends and whatever the hell you call people on Twitch. Twitchers. You are all Twitchers today. Who do we think is going to win this fight?
Well, as we all know...
Welcome, Warden's follower, who just signed up for a Twitch account to be here. We appreciate it.
Love that. Well, as we all know, VSSV stands for Very Sucky Spinning Vert. So by default, I believe Overclock has the advantage. However, Overclock has a lot of exposed chassis.
Yeah. If VSSV gets it up in the air, I think it's going to get the extenders that hold the weapon together, too.
We shall see.
But Overclock might get the supports off of VSSV and knock it over.
Good, who knows?
Beautyfly is going for Overclock. Saw somebody else new in here. SpongeBot. I'm assuming that's MottBot. MottBot has like 100 alts.
Yeah, who knows?
Every one of you is an alt account for MottBot. Here we go. Getting this match underway. Although I'm coming out slowly and meeting in the middle. Overclock with the range, pushing VSSV back.
Wow.
I think it's gotten spikes off of the disc as well. wow, Overclock being deadly here against the deadly vertical spinner who is trying to get to the top of Overclock and not able to do so.
Well, that's one of the issues with VSSV is when it runs inverted like this, it can still do a lot of damage to the top of robots, but it has lost at least one spike.
Yeah, it's landing a couple of blows to the top of Overclock. It's broken half the spikes off. But it's taken a lot of damage in the process. And
Physics decided that was enough.
Physics said we haven't had enough problems in this stream. We need more. Restart time.
Love that.
Big hits from Overclock pushing VSSV back all the way to the wall now. And going to push VSSV close to the grinder, not into it, but one of those stabilizers come off and VSSV has fallen over. It's lost a spike off of the spinning disc. I think Overclock's lost a spike as well. There goes the other stabilizer and another spike off of VSSV. Okay. So they're kind of trading spike for spike here with their weapons.
Ooh, and VSSV's lost all of them. No way.
So the whole of VSSV's weapon is fallen to pieces here. And Overclock is just going to stab away at its chassis.
Getting KOs now.
Yeah, the control board hits are there.
47 seconds and Overclock made that look surprisingly easy.
Your voice is falling apart. Take it easy.
Yeah, no, it's not great, is it?
Overclock with the KO for the Robot Rebels.
Yeah, that's better. I don't know why my voice has just decided to shit itself this week.
Too much metal vocals on the way over here in the car.
I didn't even do any. That's the best part. It's just so beat up from soloing last week.
Innova says, falling apart just like YouTube's connection there, Steve.
Falling apart just like the rest of my life.
Falling apart like this country. I didn't say that out loud. Let's continue. The Robot Rebels in the middleweights have Woodrow Kilson. It is a literal hammer saw. Saw blades on a hammering arm. It is named after Jevin Woodrow of the World of Woodrow YouTube channel, not Twitch channel.
Nope.
He needs to be on Twitch since we're over here now. Because he hates the term hammer saw, so I named a hammer saw after him. The Levantine Alliance has Rosewater. It's a rear hinge flipper with a piston poking spike down the center. It's surprisingly good weapon combination.
It is actually.
Getting robots off balance with the flippers and then stabbing them to death. Chat, who do you got? Most of them saying Rosewater here. Zester pointing out the fight quality's been high despite the stream issues. I know.
Yeah, it's actually
when the stream is running smoothly, the fights are in. When the stream is running like crap, the fights are amazing and we miss all of them.
Yeah.
Almost all of chat is on Rosewater's side. Callison saying it's just as well that Jevin is not on Twitch. Probably. Here we go. Fight number 2. The Rebels are leading by 3. Oh, big hit from the hammer saw. Rosewater's run under it and into the grinder. And they're kind of, I think Woodrow Kilson's got his wheels off of the floor and can't move.
It does. It's wedged on top of the grinder.
It's gotten free, though.
Ooh, it did.
Just barely.
But it ran itself back in.
Rosewater is going to take advantage of it being up against the grinder and flip it over. Is stabbing away with that piston poking spike now. And Woodrow Kilson unable to right itself. But that's not good enough for Rosewater. They want points. Trying to get a KO here. One of the wheels is off of Woodrow Kilson. Rosewater still just playing with its corpse, basically. Looking for this KO.
The hammer saws themselves are in the grinder and have come off.
Yeah.
Both of them, I think.
Rosewater using the grinder to great effect here, not only to cause damage, but to keep the hammer saw bot off balance. It's totally coming apart now for Woodrow Kilson. Rosewater stabbing away, trying to get that knockout, trying to use the grinder to get it, and it had.
did.
No, not yet.
Oh.
There it is, 121 left.
99 seconds.
And that ties the match up. Instead of taking the TKO like they could have, they've tied the match with the knockout.
Rosewater's been deceptively good getting those KOs.
Yes. Only caused 876 points of damage with its own weapons. Most of that was the grinder. People's names are not a uniform color anymore. That's because YouTube's chat thing does not have colors in it, so they all show up as one color in Streamlabs, but Streamlabs displays whatever colors the chat window normally has, and Twitch has lots of colors, so it is now a very colorful chat window, much like my channel is a very colorful channel. At least in terms of like pride flags, it's colorful.
I mean, you know, colorful drink.
Yeah. As much color in here as we can. Alright. Heavyweight time. The Robot Rebels have Jaws of Death with the spiked clubs as side axes. Invertible Robot has a little bit of defense on it this season. The Levantine Alliance has Almudamir, which is an overhead horizontal bar spinner with a good ground game and incredibly good at pushing judges' decisions.
It's gone to 5 consecutive ones.
Yes.
Absolutely insane.
Do we think it could do the same with Jaws of Death?
It might be a tall order. I'm actually thinking Almudamir has a shot to KO it because of the exposed chassis on the corners where the side axes are.
Yeah. Jaws is not known for its ability to knock things out, so it's distinctly possible that it could go to the another decision. So, chat is on Jaws of Death side, it looks like. Also, I think chat is a little bit more real-time than it is on YouTube.
Yeah, it's a lot faster on here. Like, the stream is only like 5 seconds behind.
Yes. Well, let's start this heavyweight fight and break this tied match. Here we go. Jaws of Death coming charging in and getting Almudamir stopped and pounding away at that wedge. And you can see it's caving in the chassis of Almudamir, but Almudamir is causing damage to the chassis of Jaws of Death back on that top right corner. Every time Jaws of Death swings, it's backing itself up and allowing Almudamir's weapon to spin again. So this is Jaws of Death trying to kill Almudamir before it gets killed itself. Although it is doing a good job of keeping that weapon relatively slow. And it's just tearing up the front end of Almudamir with those swinging spiked clubs. Broken 2 of the arms off of Almudamir's overhead bar spinner. Although I'm just steadily causing small amounts of chassis damage to each other.
The ram plate on Jaws has been very effective so far, at least mitigating some of the damage.
Yeah, but you can see it's taking damage to that top corner still. And there goes the ram plate off the front of Jaws of Death. It's lost the right side axe as well. Broke one of the wedges off of Almudamir. This is the most damaging fight Almudamir's been in, and it's landing control board hits to Jaws of Death, and that's going to be a knockout with 141 left.
79 seconds.
When Almudamir needed to step up, it did so. Whittled Jaws of Death down, and then went in for the kill.
Yes, thank you, Warden's follower. Now that's brutality.
More or less. No, it's Perfect Phoenix.
Perfect Phoenix. Yeah.
So the Rebels are now down by 3. We go to the super heavyweights. Surprisingly good fight, says Ghost. Yes, absolutely. Quite enjoyed it. Jonathan says brutality attack. Yes. I'm not keeping up with who is who from YouTube, so I'm just reading off whatever the Twitch username is. Nitro of Suburbia is going.
Guessing that's Nitro popping in, maybe.
I hope it is. Joe Nathan. Cool. So, super heavyweight time. The Rebels have Heart Attack. It is a 6-wheel drive high-speed rammer. It's got wedges. It's got kind of spikes up top as like a scoop shape. Very good at controlling fights. Levantine Alliance have Androctonus, something like that. It has side axes and an overhead scorpion tail axe. It's extremely deadly, not very fast. Now, the Levantine Alliance is leading by 3. Heart Attack needs a KO to tie the match. Heart Attack's not great at getting KOs. So, chat, your predictions for Heart Attack and Androctonus, please. People predicting the scorpion tail on Androctonus to break off.
Distinctly possible if Heart Attack gets to the rear.
Well, Heart Attack's upper spikes are designed to protect against overhead attacks, so definitely possible. For Bold going Heart Attack by Uda or Grinder. Be cool to see Heart Attack get ring outs. Let's see how these two match up to each other. Speed against weapon power. Heart Attack bounced off the floor and didn't get a good ram in there. And Androctonus is swinging those side axes into the side of Heart Attack. It's actually gotten hits to the top with that scorpion tail axe. And is wedging under Heart Attack. So Heart Attack is taking a lot of damage here from Androctonus and not able to push it around like it would want to. It's lost the 2 front wheels. It's getting torn up from above as well. Heart Attack is floundering here, trying to do anything at all. Finally, the upper scorpion tail axes come off, and Heart Attack loses a wheel to the Grinder, trying to back up for a ram. Sheesh. Yeah, this is not going very well for Heart Attack. It was briefly to Androctonus' side. It tries to escape once again. But Androctonus, the front end of that robot is just so deadly. Taking all the wheels except one off of Heart Attack and is now caving in the sides of the chassis. Oh, the whole right side axe came off, though.
Oh no.
So, Heart Attack lives to fight another minute or so. As Androctonus keeps it pinned up against the wall, trying to land that left side axe. There was a count briefly, and I think Heart Attack is being counted. It's got to try to break it. Which in theory it should do. I think it has. But control board hits are there. That's a knockout with 1:16 left. Androctonus took a while to do it, but once it got through Heart Attack's front end and wheels, it got the 3 points for Levantine, who have been doing pretty good so far this season. 9-3 win once again. A lot of damage points. Yes, that's what Androctonus can do. Alright. So, the 8th match, the final match in the first half of the stream. We still have... This is our 3rd restart of the stream. We're not even halfway done. What do we have, Steve?
We have Jubilife City Jigglypuffs taking on Heavy Metal Robotics.
Oh my.
Oh my. I cannot do that.
Yeah, your voice is a little bad. Mine's not much better. Chris McGee, Razor259 wants to know Androctonus' DPS.
107.
Not as high as it could be. It takes a little while to get in there.
Takes a little time because of how slow it is.
So, the Jubilife City Jigglypuffs come in with Y2K in the lightweights. It is kind of a front hinge flipper axe kind of weapon. Not the best at getting knockouts or points. Has a good ground game though. Heavy Metal Robotics has Voidwalker, a 360-degree horizontal spinner, named after a Singularity song, I believe. Chat, you're predicting Voidwalker at the moment, but there's some Y2K predictions. Who you got? Hey, Me57 has arrived. Welcome. A lot of Voidwalker predictions. Who you got?
I'm thinking Y2K is going to overwhelm Voidwalker and flip it over.
Voidwalker cannot self-right. Let's see if that's a factor here. Voidwalker gets itself up to speed. It goes right up the wedge and gets pushed back by the weapon of Y2K, but is now hitting the side of Y2K's chassis as Y2K tries to bring that weapon down on Voidwalker, not actually landing blows really. As look at the damage that Y2K's taken to its chassis though. Voidwalker racking up the damage, although it's been pushed into the wall by Y2K now, and now it's gonna swing away at Voidwalker and smash it apart.
Oh no.
But the whole sword has come off of Y2K now. The spinner has racked up the damage that it needed, and Y2K is going to run Voidwalker into the wall and flip it over. Fantastic change of strategy and great driving by Y2K, using its aggressiveness and its wedge to get Voidwalker upside down and into the grinder now. And Voidwalker's weapon is being torn apart in that corner. Wheels have come off. Voidwalker is stuffed under the grinder, or Y2K is stuffed under the grinder. Voidwalker's on top of the grinder. Voidwalker's going to back out, or Y2K's going to back out of there and leave Voidwalker for a TKO here. 134 left. That is 86 seconds for Y2K to get the TKO and the 2 points. Voidwalker had the weapon power, but not the strategy. And Jubilife takes the first win. KD has made it to Twitch. Welcome. Wolby claims fight of the week. Lol.
It was a reasonably good comeback in my opinion.
Put it as a candidate. Mark it down.
I did for sure. That was good. Swung both ways within like 15 seconds of each other.
Yes. All right. We have the middleweight fight of this match. It is between the Jubilife City Jigglypuffs. Polybius is a rammer with a rack of spikes on top and specializes in holding opponents and kind of doing grinding damage with those spikes. Heavy Metal Robotics has Immortal Corruptor, a giant vertical spinning disc. Chet, who do you predict? What band was Immortal Corruptor from? Was that Guar?
Guar, yes.
That was Guar.
That's why it looks like an abomination.
Because it is.
Fortunately, Immortal Corruptor doesn't play much of a ground game.
Yeah, and Polybius is pretty good at that. Chat is mainly on the side of Polybius. Is the chat is the stream running fine for you down there?
Yeah, generally.
Okay, just my screen that's buffering. Did you say Jubilife's on a winning streak?
Yes, that's now 11 to 10 in a row. 10 consecutive fight wins. Looking for more.
Here we go. they get it. As Immortal Corruptor gets up to speed, it turned away from Polybius, and Polybius is punishing it by running it into the grinder.
Fucking weirdo.
And the whole right side of Immortal Corruptor is coming apart as Polybius just presses it deep into the grinder there. This is Polybius's game, is to just hold its opponents in place. But
That's a pin.
that's a pin. It's supposed to let go after a while, and it did not. So we try it again. Immortal Corruptor comes straight at Polybius this time, and they've interlocked their wedgelets briefly, but now Polybius has ground game advantage and pushes Immortal Corruptor into the grinder. Those rear armor panels protecting Immortal Corruptor for the moment. And Polybius backed away, and Immortal Corruptor went for the wheel, but didn't quite get it. Going for the wheel again now, but Polybius has the pace to get away. Bounced off of the wall, and Immortal Corruptor has not yet been able to get to the side of Polybius, but it has hit the rear. And now Polybius is wedged under Immortal Corruptor. Both of them taking turns controlling the other. And interlocking their wedgelets here. So this is a very dangerous microwave that they're playing right now. Immortal Corruptor tried to back out of it, but it might be stuck as it runs Polybius into the wall. Gets back against the wall again, but Polybius pushes free. So, I think their wedgelets might actually be locked together.
Maybe?
Because they made a few maneuvers to break the microwave and just couldn't get away from each other.
I think it's more the pontoon style wedge on Polybius is blocking the Corruptors.
Definitely a possibility. They keep shuffling around near that wall, but neither of them can get the advantage, although Immortal Corruptor is pushing Polybius back a lot harder now. Not quite able to get it to a wall or to the grinder, and now Polybius is locked back into that microwave, although it's underneath Immortal Corruptor now. And it's pinning Immortal Corruptor to the wall to stop that weapon from spinning. Not quite able to make use of that advantage, and they reset back into the microwave. Well, 30 seconds remain, and I would not have called either of these robots to push a judge's decision, but here we are.
Not at all.
Neither of them willing to break the... Oh, so... I was about to say neither willing to break the microwave, but Immortal Corruptor did, and Polybius has pounced as a result, as it pressed against the wall and holding it in place. Oh no, is Polybius going to force another restart with like 3 seconds to go?
I don't think there's enough time for it. Nope, time
It
expired
goes to
before
the judges, barely, with Polybius... No! Fuck it, the time said 0, it's judge's decision.
That's not a restart.
We're not taking a fraction of a second as a restart.
No, that's dumb.
Okay, judge's decision. Technically, on the most technicality of points, that's a pin, but there's literally a fraction of a second remaining. We're just calling that a judge's decision. Okay. Heavyweight time. This is where things get, well, they were kind of weird before, but they get weirder now. Won't someone think of the judges? I think the judges need to work harder.
Thank you.
And I say that knowing that we've been the judges for most of the season. Okay, here we go. The Jubilife City Jigglypuffs bring I Love You into the heavyweight division. It is two big vertical spinners set far back and two long pontoon wedges out the front. Heavy Metal Robotics has vacuity with the overhead pickaxe and a lot of defensive work on its chassis. Chat, predictions for I Love You versus vacuity, please. Gotta give the judges something to do. I want to do anything except judge fights at this point. We've been doing this for over 4 hours and we're not even halfway done.
Yep.
Chat's on I Love You's side. Let's see how it goes. Jubilife leading this match. I Love You goes right under the pontoons of Vacuity. Vacuity swinging away with the axe, but I Love You's put it straight over the wall. No judges' decisions for you, Vacuity. It did a hell of a lot of damage in that amount of time.
Yeah.
Well, okay then. That wins the match. Probably. Unless Immortal Corruptor wins the judge's decision and they get a knockout.
Yes.
It's a draw. The Jubilife City Jigglypuffs cannot lose at this point. I was about to say Heavy Metal's got a good knockout artist in the heavyweights, but so does the Jigglypuffs. So, Jubilife City Jigglypuffs at Hello World. It is a horizontal spinner by our classification. They're mounted high up. It's the old school build method of a juggler. It gets a robot on top and grinds away from underneath. Heavy Metal Robotics has Aqua Dementia with the spiked side hinge flippers. Very powerful, very destructive robot. Chassis wedge.
Yeah.
Razor259 says, what's been happening with your subs count the last few weeks? Well, here on Twitch, I have no subs count, so... I'll tell you exactly what's happening with the subs count and the view counts and everything on YouTube is I'm not putting out consistent videos every week. Therefore, the algorithm has decided nobody wants to watch my videos anymore and will not serve them to anybody. Our first stream this season, we had 60 plus viewers, which was on par with the best of last season. And the last two streams, we've had about 29, which is less than the number of people involved in the league.
Which is how many we have on Twitch right now. On a completely emergency Twitch stream.
YouTube is just actively suppressing my channel at this point because I'm not continuously putting out a ton of videos all the time. And live streaming every single week is making it worse and not better. That's what's happening to the subs count. So let's finish this match off and see if Heavy Metal can get some points back. If they're going to sink down the standings. Aqua Dementia straight over the wedges of Hello World and is stuck on top of those horizontal spinners. They're just grinding away. It's taken some of the side armor off of Aqua Dementia as it's now pinned against the wall. It's trying to get free, but has lost a wheel and is now against the grinder. Look at the side of Aqua Dementia being caved in by that right side disc from Hello World. Hello World breaks free, and Aqua Dementia is stuck against the grinder by its rear spike. Managed to get free, and Hello World charges in once again. Aqua Dementia not being given an inch in this fight as it's on control board hits and knocked out. That is possibly a shutout.
Possibly a cycle.
That's possibly a cycle. First team to do it twice, maybe, if they get the decision. YouTube sucks if you want to do something fun. Exactly. I tried to have fun talking about BattleBots last season, and people fucking ruined the end of BattleBots for me by being dickheads. Actually, I probably can't use that language on Twitch, can I?
Probably not. No.
I need... This is why I don't stream on Twitch. Let's move on to our next match. We're not going to do the midstream break here because we've had 2 midstream breaks. As usual, we start the second half with the Moscow Mantines, and they are facing
The Wiltshire Magnums.
the Magnums. Okay. Here we go to start the second half of our matches this week. We have Metallica for the Moscow Mantines, the fast invertible rammer with the W of spikes on the front. It is facing Acidic Lemon, a front-hinged flipper for the Wiltshire Magnums. Rammers have a bad track history against flippers. Metallica's been brutal this season. Absolutely death metal brutal. Using that speed metal to its advantage. But, chat, what do you think it's going to do against a flipper? Twitch has given Dolphin Treasure a sword. It means she's a chat moderator. I believe you will have one as well if you're in Twitch chat. Boya says Metallica's the last remaining perfect bot. 6 knockouts. And chat is leaning towards Metallica winning this one, so let's see how this goes. Metallica charges in but slows down at the end so it doesn't bounce over the top of Acidic Lemon and runs it into the wall. Acidic Lemon does not have the pace to keep up with Metallica, who's just caving in the front and side and running it to the wall. It was briefly thrown into the grinder by Acidic Lemon. Acidic Lemon being the aggressor here, as Metallica's having some drive issues trying to line up, but look at the damage it's doing to the front of Acidic Lemon as it's thrown by those spiked flipping arms. Now Metallica driving upside down and driving itself into the wall. The speed of Metallica proving to be a little unprecise. That's a word I just made up. As Acidic Lemon's going to drive it back into the wall after wedging under it. So Metallica, brutal and quick and being slowed down by the much more methodical Acidic Lemon here. Another big ram by Metallica. Backs away to try to line up again, but it's got Acidic Lemon over near the grinder as smoke pours from the smaller wedge robot. And Metallica pushes it into the grinder. And Acidic Lemon struggling to drive. Metallica's bounced right over the top of it and is now stuck on the wedge. Acidic Lemon doing its best to be aggressive with that lower power drive, but it has taken a huge blow to its control boards here from Metallica. On the verge of a knockout as Metallica pins it to the wall with 1 minute remaining. And Acidic Lemon's going to push forward and get free and get Metallica near the grinder, but Metallica's got the drive power to get free. It's going to try and get those spikes into play. Push Acidic Lemon back to the grinder zone.
Ooh, and it got the knockout.
There's the knockout with 39 seconds remaining for Metallica. That was a long, drawn-out fight from Acidic Lemon. Did everything in its power, but unable to stand up to the might of Metallica. The power of heavy metal compels you. Heavy metal is stronger than ice cream, but not stronger than a Jigglypuff.
Weird, right?
This whole time I thought Jigglypuffs were made of ice cream.
May as well be.
So, Metallica, 7 knockouts in 7 fights. This is why Moscow leads the whole league. Nitro points out, last season, the explicit equation had a judge's decision in Week 7, so now Metallica is officially better than explicit equation.
Thank God, too.
Alright, middleweight time. Captain Mantine is in the chat. Welcome. Welcome to this weird, strange land, Twitchers. So, the Moscow Mantines and the middleweights have Falcon Punch. It's a sit-and spinner with a bunch of iron boxing glove weapons around it. It's facing the Wiltshire Magnums Mint Chalk Crusher. The 2 vertical spinning drills on the front. Both of these robots are very destructive. Mint Chalk Crusher is a little bit better equipped for going for KO. Chad, what do we think is going to happen between these two? They both have roughly an equal amount of weapon power to bear. 8 damaging components. Although Mint Chalk Crusher has the razor spikes, which have less HP. But Falcon Punch can't go chase after to get a KO. Chat, what do we think? Chat's on Falcon Punch's side, it looks like.
Fair play. It has like 360-degree armor when it's spinning.
Pretty much. Well, let's see if the Mantines can take this advantage they have in the match and extend it. This Mint Chalk Crusher comes out as a massive, gigantic robot compared to Falcon Punch here. As the Falcon gets spinning, knocking Mint Chalk Crusher away, but again, that sit and spin style is not able to capitalize on an opening like that. As Mint Chalk Crusher's weapons start to fall apart. Not yet able to get any parts off of Falcon Punch that bounces over some debris. So that whole right side drill has come apart. The whole left side drill has come apart, but now at least two of the Iron Fists have come off of. A bunch of the fists came off of Falcon Punch, but there's nothing Mint Chalk Crusher can do about it because it's lost all of its drills. And is now struggling with its own debris. Falcon Punch threatens it. And is caving in that right side of the Mint Chalk Crusher, and Falcon Punch has bounced through the air after that collision. Oh, more fists breaking off of the Falcon. The Falcon Punch is breaking its wrists. Not using the right technique here. It's getting KO shots, and there's the knockout in 87 seconds. So the Mantines 6-0 lead in this match. Looking very, very strong this season.
Mantines can no longer lose this match.
This is true.
Multibot.
Multibot madness awaits.
Yes, hello Ashlyn. What match are we at and why on Twitch? We are on match 9 right now. And why are we on Twitch? Because YouTube literally will not work with us right now. Just constantly cutting out and not letting us stream.
Yeah. This is the 3rd attempt at running the stream. Because YouTube is not playing ball with us. Twitch is being excellent at the moment. In fact, they've not even kicked me off for saying the word fuck repeatedly. So, I shall continue saying the word fuck. Ladies and gentlemen and non-binary pals, the heavyweights, the Moscow Mantines have 917. It's a race car looking rear hinged flipper. Pretty good so far this season. gotten some good KOs, gotten some good ring outs. Very fun robot to watch. The miniature Magnums have Banana Splitter and Cherry and Creamer, the multi-bot pair. Banana Splitter's the main robot with 3 overhead axes on a wedge. And Cherry and Creamer is just a mini-bot nuisance bot, which has been entertaining, if not helpful.
Yeah.
So chat, who do you think is going to win between 917 and the multi-bot pair?
So, something that Cherry and Creamer is really good for here is getting up in 917's face and triggering a flip. And if Banana Splitter is right behind that, it can slip under before it tracks down and get underneath it. We saw it do that to the Nile King.
Yes. Well, chat seems to be on the race car side. I guess chat just likes race cars. So let's see what the race car can do with 2 opponents if it's fast enough to deal with them both. It's just batted Cherry and Creamer away, although it's exposed itself to attack from Banana Splitter, and it's gone up Banana Splitter's wedge and is taking blows from those axes. But look at the juke move to get around the side of Banana Splitter. Not able to take advantage though. However, it's underneath now and is tossing Banana Splitter through the air. Cherry and Creamer trying to be a nuisance and not really being successful at it. Although 917 is tired of it and is going to push it over into the grinder and throw it right over the wall.
Goodbye.
But it is no longer able to get underneath Banana Splitter. In fact, it's flipped itself over trying to do so. Physics just threw physics threw them apart.
Yep.
So we got to restart that one because it was close between the ground game for them, and being thrown aside decided that.
Yep.
So let's try it again. Here we go. 917 gonna run Cherry and Creamer into the wall and almost over already. It's gonna take blows from Banana Splitter, who is snuck up from behind despite its slow drive pace. 917 not able to get under either of the ice cream robots yet, although it's managed to do so there, and it's run them both into the wall and they both flipped over. Banana Splitter is gonna throw itself out of the ring trying to self-right here. Although it's thrown itself over the top of 917 and lost an axe in the process. 917 is now stranded on Cherry and Creamer with its wheels off the floor, and that's allowed Banana Splitter to get some blows on it. 917 is struggling to get itself righted. It's stuck near the grinder, and Banana Splitter is taking a lot of damage, but it's trying to take advantage of 917 being stranded by the grinder. 917 is taking a lot of damage from Banana Splitter now, although it is caving in the front of that wedge by swinging the flipping arms down. And now 917 gets upright. Look at all the smoke pouring out of these robots. They're both doing tons of damage to each other. So 917 runs up the wedge of Banana Splitter and tosses Cherry and Creamer aside. Banana Splitter pinning 917 to the wall to hold it in place. 917's gonna get some big hits to Cherry and Creamer and then juke around the rear of Banana Splitter. There's still a minute and 15 left in this fight, and there's so much that's been going on. I can't even keep up with all of it. Although 917 is now stuck on top of the axes and wedge of Banana Splitter is going to run them into the wall and attack from underneath. 917 not able to get down or get free from here. And every time it does so, it ends up back on top of the wedge. Although the last axe has finally come off of Banana Splitter. And so now it is just a wedge, and we've seen it win fights being just a wedge. It's a fantastic chassis wedge. Even if it is doubling as a smoke screen here, as it's going to run 917 over to the wall. Cherry and Creamer trying to help out with a little bit of pushing power. Little remains. 30 seconds to go. 917 not able to get down. And Banana Splitter just relentlessly controlling the pace of this fight as we approach a judge's decision. Cherry and Creamer so low on battery power can barely move. 917's gotten free. It's gotten behind Banana Splitter, but not able to take advantage. It's gone right up the wedge. And we are going to the judges. I don't have to do math on this one. But that wins the match for the Moscow Mantines. They already have 6 points. There's only 3 points remaining. What's going on?
Just changing my chat color because I don't like orange.
Fair. You don't like fail race colors?
You have to have the black stripe in it, though.
You're not wrong. Super heavyweight time. Last remaining fight in this match. Okay. The Moscow Mantines have the Bolshevik Barracuda in the super heavyweights. 2 big spiked axes over the top, narrow wedge on the front. It's been deadly if it can get those teeth into play. The Wiltshire Magnums have Ice Cream Sandwicher, 2 horizontal spinners on side axes. It has rear hinge flippers in the front as forks. It is a surprisingly capable combination of weaponry. Chat, what do you expect to happen between Bolshevik Barracuda and Ice Cream Sandwicher besides me to run out of syllables while talking? Chat is talking about purple, mostly. That's fair, I like purple. Purple. Like pink, like blue, like white. Together. You know, colors are good. Looks like those who are predicting for the fight seem to be on Bolshevik Barracuda's side. So let's see what happens in this final fight in this match. Ooh, the Bolshevik Barracuda lifted by those lifting spikes, and now Ice Cream Sandwicher swinging away at the rear and underside of the Bolshevik Barracuda, who is now underneath Ice Cream Sandwicher and gonna pile the damage on. They're both attacking each other's weapons, though. Both of the axes right off of Bolshevik Barracuda. So it's not a good thing for Ice Cream Sandwicher to be on the wedge. And now Ice Cream Sandwicher swinging away. It's broken off one of the sets of defensive spikes on the side and has now flipped the Bolshevik Barracuda upside down. Has no more weapon to self-right with. And Ice Cream Sandwicher is still swinging away with those spinning axes, trying to do as much damage as it can, maybe get 3 points out of this. Though it is struggling with them so close to the ground to make contact. It's got to back away to take the TKO victory here for the Ice Cream Sandwicher in 70 seconds.
That was surprising.
Yes.
Wow.
Ice Cream Sandwicher decapitated the Bolshevik Barracuda.
All the technical difficulties, we've had some really good fights this week. Yeah, that's what makes the difficulty so much more annoying. Some of these have been really good.
It's been a really good week for robot fighting. Bolshevik Barracuda wasn't hungry enough. I mean, probably just got brain freeze.
Probably.
Ice Cream Sandwich is the natural predator of the Barracuda. You're not wrong. Okay. We continue.
Powerhouse.
Powerhouse Robotics.
And Pink Chaos.
Pink Chaos. Yeah. Repping my team this week. Okay. I know which side I'm on. So, Powerhouse Robotics and the lightweights have impact. It is a four-wheel drive rammer. It's got two little spikes out the front, parallelogram shape, allows it to do wheelies and escape even when on a wedge. Pink Chaos has Firestarter, the asymmetric horizontals overhead spinner. Can sort of self-right sometimes. This version not as well as the last version. Chats. Predictions for Impact versus Firestarter. Voya says Impact did slightly catch fire. It started on fire.
Isn't that like every robot that's real though?
Hey, Hit and Run never caught fire.
The original one did.
Yeah, shoosh. Most of chat is on Firestarter's side. Yes, going with the pink team. More pink robots are needed in this world. Let's see how this one turns out. Get this match underway with the lightweights. Impact comes charging in and actually got through to hit the chassis of Firestarter and has gotten it up on top. Firestarter's asymmetric spinner not doing any good up there, but it has bent that right side of the chassis of Impact, who's not able to get away and has lost a wheel now to Firestarter. So Firestarter focusing on caving in that right front corner as Impact is now getting those spikes into Firestarter's chassis now that it's stopped, but Firestarter's going to come back in once it backs away. So Impact with the pushing power here over Firestarter, but also the one taking a lot of damage as smoke pours out of that right front corner. Probably looking like IRL Impact when its ESC went up. Firestarter just trying to cave that corner in, get its weapon up to speed. There's control board hits going on, hitting that ESC directly with the asymmetric spinner.
That was with the counterweight.
Yeah, and there's the knockout in 68 seconds. Impact did a pretty good job hanging in there, but could not hold up to the weapon power of Firestarter. Let me go to the middle. Middleweight time. Chat. Powerhouse Robotics has Side Strike. It is two side axes with a plow in the front, and it's been incredibly good at killing things quickly by holding them at bay with that plow first. Pink Chaos has Overthrown with the two front hinge flippers on it. It's a chassis wedge and a flipper. Oh, excuse me, I need more Mountain Dew. Excuse me, I need more Mysterious Green Liquid. So, Overthrown has the power to throw Side Strike out of the ring, flip it over at will. Side Strike's invertible and might have a ground game advantage, question mark?
We'll see. Possible.
Chad, who do you predict between these two? Mostly on Overthrown's side, but some are predicting Side Strike. Side Strike's been surprisingly effective so far. Overthrown because Ashlyn made an overbot. Yes. The overbots were an overused joke of ours that we started when we first brought Robot Rampage League to Patreon. Because ABC BattleBots had Overhaul and Overdrive. Robot Wars had Overdozer. And we were still remembering Overkill from BattleBots. So we're like, yeah, there's clearly too many robots with over in the name, so we need a lot more of them. Over Easy. I'm pretty sure somebody already has a insect weight robot called Over Easy. Here we go with the middleweights. Chaos leading. Can they keep that lead as Side Strike holds Overthrown at bay and is stabbing away at the corners? Overthrow pinning Side Strike to the wall, unable to get underneath that plow on the front. Side Strike gonna reset and end up underneath Overthrown again, but it's been pushed back into the grinder, so Overthrown, understanding it does not have the ground game advantage, but it can use the arena to its advantage here. And it's damaged
Oh no.
Side Strike quite heavily as Side Strike's going up the wedge, and Overthrown's thrown it upside down now. And is tossing it through the air and pinned it on the wall.
No.
That might be it if Side Strike cannot get down. Currently Overthrown is holding it against the wall. And Overthrown's going to back away to make sure that a TKO count happens here. Unfortunate placement. But that's what happens when you have a flipper. You can do that. And that is 2 more points for Pink Chaos.
Powerhouse's winless streak is getting painful to watch.
Yeah, Side Strike had...
It was almost there too.
It almost had it. That's what makes it more painful, is it was so close. But alas, that's what makes streaks like this so incredible, is that they're just so unlikely. Heavyweight time. Callus and Ken Pink get more than 6 points. They've been doing pretty good this season.
Yeah. I think it's been a little while since they actually got more than 6.
I think they're, what, second in division?
Yeah, second overall going into this. They need a big week.
Is Quora here in the chat?
Somewhere. Embedded. Lurking.
I'm trying to remember what Quora's Twitch name was, so I could say no, not Quora, but this instead. That person is in chat somewhere, yes. So, heavyweights for this match. Powerhouse has Death Grip. It is 2 overhead axes, kind of bitey axes, similar to the real-life Death Grip, which is very bitey. There's 2 of them now. Boy has built an Antweight and a Beetle.
Yes, yes.
Pink Chaos have Second Amendment, which is a fast 4-wheel drive rammer equipped with bear arms, by popular request. So chat, Death Grip, the wedge, against Second Amendment, the rammer. What do we predict to happen? A lot on Death Grip side, a lot on Second Amendment side. You think it's possible for Second Amendment to sludgefest?
Yes, but it's going to tip Death Grip over when it fires, and it could possibly pull Death Grip over the wall with it.
Oh my, a double sludgefest.
That would be pretty sick.
I want to see that happen. Let's get this started. First one to hit the ground loses. Second Amendment runs,
Ooh,
but the axe keeps Second Amendment in the ring. And Second Amendment charging up the wedge, ending up underneath Death Grip. The axe is hitting the front of Second Amendment and not the top, although that landed a blow directly to the left front wheel. As Second Amendment tries to push Death Grip around, or run it into the wall here. Charge for another ram. Kind of slowing down right before impact to make sure it doesn't go over the wall. Second Amendment being very controlled for an aggressive ram bot, and taking the axe blows with the front weapons, has broken one of them off and is protecting Second Amendment's chassis, although it has taken a fair amount of damage from a hit blow, it looks like.
There goes the other axe.
There's the other remaining axe gone now, and so His Second Amendment
Ooh, that
ramping
was
into
very
the
close.
wall. I think Deathgrip was baiting that, hoping for a Sledgefest off of it. Although Deathgrip's armor is not standing up to the weaponry, and that is a 65-second knockout. Well, we're on shutout watch.
Pink Chaos got more than 6 points?
Pink Chaos
In
might have a
this
shutout.
economy?
Yeah. This is not looking good for Powerhouse because Pink Chaos has a super heavyweight that's undefeated.
Yep, the only one.
What match number is this?
10.
Match number 10. You're nowhere near the end of the stream yet, unfortunately.
My voice is very much near its end.
So the super heavyweights, Powerhouse has Caraboss. It is a big, tall, boxy, rear-hinged flipper. Very good at tipping robots up and pinning them to the wall. The lift and pin, made famous by Biohazard for BattleBots. Dysfunctional Stepsister is the super heavyweight for Pink Chaos. 8 rear-hinged flipping arms. Fixed the smart zone placement, and it is now once again going undefeated.
Yep.
Just like the Patreon show. Chat, what do we expect out of Caraboss and Dysfunctional Stepsister?
You
I
know,
see
as
Ogilvy has gotten other Twitch account working. Cool.
you know, as much as Dysfunctional Stepsister has the good wedge and the good flipping power, Caraboss's flip kind of forks are actually pretty good. It could stalemate and at least give Dysfunctional Stepsister a fight.
Dysfunctional Stepsister does have the problem of mistiming its flips. And if that happens, Caraboss is very good at getting control and keeping it.
I would love to see Powerhouse get a win here. Break the streak.
Yeah. Some of chat's predicting Caraboss. Most are predicting Dysfunctional Stepsister. So, let's get the final fight of this match underway. Dysfunctional Stepsister coming out, losing the
Look at
ground
that.
game to Caraboss. Although it is firing those flipping arms into Caraboss's own flipping arms. But despite having the greater drive power, Caraboss is the one in control of Dysfunctional Stepsister and is just holding it in place, not allowing it to get away and get those flipping arms back into play. Dysfunctional Stepsister going to back away. It's lost a flipping arm in the process, and Caraboss is going to get underneath again. So Caraboss is the one with the low game, and it's using those
Doing
spike
damage,
flipping
yeah.
arms
Just
to
didn't
attack
know.
the underside of Dysfunctional Stepsister
Oh
here.
no!
So Dysfunctional Stepsister is playing right into Caraboss's hands with those flipping spikes, stabbing away at the underside of Dysfunctional Stepsister. Now it's going to hold it upright in that lift and pin position that Caraboss is known for. So Dysfunctional Stepsister is... It's like an older brother fighting a younger sister and just holding it at bay while it swings away. So
Love it.
Dysfunctional Stepsister taking a ton of damage. Look at all the smoke pouring out of the front end of it now as Caraboss just steadily pushes it across the floor. Look at the damage that it's done to the front end of Dysfunctional Stepsister. Now, that is all visual. The hitbox
Yeah.
doesn't change. But Dysfunctional Stepsister's armor points are definitely going bye-bye very quickly.
And Caraboss is working it over to that grinder now.
Yes, Grinder may come into play here, but
Ooh, they backed out. They had to back up.
Caraboss had to back away to avoid a pin. But it'll go right back under Dysfunctional Stepsister, but it's lost one of the flipping spikes to Dysfunctional Stepsister, who doesn't have any... Look, the motors are all so damaged it can't
flip
retract.
anymore.
So even though Caraboss is on top of Dysfunctional Stepsister,
It can't flip now.
DS can't flip. It's lost its ability to retract those motors. I think Caraboss has lost its flipping
Yes,
arms
it has,
finally. But Karabas still has the ground game. Functional Scepter is going to push it back towards the grinder, but Karabas is going to push back as parts randomly go to space for no apparent reason. There's 20-something seconds remaining, and Karabas has been fully in control of this. He's going to let Dysfunctional Scepter run right back on top of those wedgelets once again.
Well.
Try and get those upper horns into play, I guess, and he's going to push back. And so, we go to the judges.
Well then.
And that might, just might, break the winless streak for Powerhouse Robotics.
That's a very, very close decision. Thank you, Voya, for pointing out Fight of the Week.
Voya wants his only possible win in the highlight video, which is going to come sometime in 2027, I believe.
Yeah, it'll be like 7 years from now. That's fine.
Don't worry, they will be released eventually. Okay, next match. Let me scroll endlessly. The lads.
Yes, the lads
are taking on the Nightvale Spiderwolves. Oh wait, no, the lads are taking on a game crash.
Shocking, right?
Well, Twitchers, thank you. Please thank our Patreon stream sponsors for making the Robot Rampage League possible. This is one of the reasons why I recommend Patreon over YouTube Super Chats. Patreon also takes less of a cut from the money than YouTube Super Chats do. This is $10 a month. It supports the league. It helps us keep the lights on, keep the internet running, and allows us to keep doing the league. So thank you very much to all of our Patreon stream sponsors. The ones in gold are also getting the top level, getting posts about our robots that we're building. Some of which are up there and are very broken.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, thank you once again, stream sponsors, for sponsoring this crash of Robot Arena 2. For once, the game crashed, not in a Patreon sponsor fight. That's not what I was looking for. At least I'm pretty sure nobody from the lads sponsors us.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Crashes on YouTube, crashes on Twitch, crashes offline, it'll crash on a plane. Yeah, Robot Arena 2 does not care. Ow, my arm. I don't know why I did that. Okay. The lads have the horizontal spinner 1 o'clock in the lightweight category, invertible, vulnerable weapon. The Nightvale Spiderwolves have Kevin. It's a sit-and spinner, but it is wonky.
Yeah.
Is the best way to describe Kevin. 1 o'clock has the reach. Kevin
Is Kevin.
is Kevin. Chat, who you got?
As we all know with the Spiderwolves, whatever you think you're gonna get, fucking good luck. It's a gamble. You don't know what you're gonna see.
The Spiderwolves have no reason to be as good as they are this season.
Also, oddly enough, both of these teams got shutouts last week.
Which one will shut the other out this week?
Oh boy.
And I say that knowing it's genuinely possible to go either way. Chat's on Kevin's side. What do you got for us, Kevin? 1 o'clock up to speed, Kevin up to speed, both spinning in the same direction. 1 o'clock swinging that weapon away, trying to get to Kevin's chassis, and it has thrown Kevin off balance and disrupted its spin. But 1 o'clock is losing weapon components as it's almost knocked Kevin upside down. Kevin goes right back to sitting and spinning, and it's broken all of
All
the
the
damaging
lockdown.
components off of 1 o'clock
And
and the weapon motor. So now 1 o'clock is a box with a pole. Excuse me, a box.
It's just a box.
And Kevin continues to spin away. Physics has thrown them both back, but they've both recovered
both okay,
nicely. We're
okay.
going to let it continue. Kevin, what in the world have you wrought to this plane of existence? 1 o'clock. Weaponless. Unable to drive in a straight line. Kevin can only spin. 1 o'clock. Trying to exercise aggression and control and only taking damage for it. Vester says Kevin wobbles, but he doesn't fall down.
Shockingly, yes.
Kevin's going to break the count that started.
Control
Land
board
a
hit.
control board hit on 1 o'clock, just casually bumping into it. Kevin's slowing down as it loses battery power.
That
But
was 1 o'clock. Wow.
yeah, they're both running low on battery power, but Kevin is going to land some more blows. And get the knockout with 117 left. And that means that the lads are trailing the Spiderwolves by 3.
Huh.
Spiderwolves are leading against the RA2C super team.
Yeah. Kevin has now won 5 straight and has 4 knockouts. I don't know what's happening.
I don't know what's happening either. This is a strange world. We are living in the strangest universe.
It's like we're living in Night Vale.
Yes, that's exactly what's happening. The middleweights, the lads have shock therapy. It's a piston poker with a rack of spikes and swords out the side for side protection. Very similar robot, but in a different shape, is the Night Vale Spiderwolves Sheriff's Secret Police. It's a triangle with a piston poker with a battering ram of axe heads on it. Chat, who do we predict to win this fight? Razor259 says, what is your sister made here? The Night Vale dimension, apparently. There's an episode of Johnny Bravo that tried to parody the Twilight Zone. And I feel like we've just done part of that episode because it's literally quoted as saying, we've just entered the zone where normal things don't happen very often.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
We've
That's where
just
we are.
entered the zone. Chat's on shock therapy's side. Sheriff Secret Police has not been producing a lot of wins for Night Vale, so let's see how it goes. Both of them meet in one side of the arena, stabbing away at each other, although shock therapy is the one losing the weaponry. All of the weapons have come off of shock therapy immediately. And the sheriff is the only one armed with a weapon now.
Alright.
Do not be unarmed against a sheriff. It is not a good time. As shock therapy is fighting out, being stalked by the triangle with the angled wheels. It's pushing Sheriff Secret Police back towards the grinder, though. Going to try and make strategic use of the arena, but unable to do so for the time being as Sheriff Secret Police pounds away with that battering ram of axes. Shock therapy pushing Sheriff Secret Police and taking a big ram at the sheriff. Although Sheriff Secret Police going for shock therapy's wheels. Fortunately, there's just nothing much shock therapy could do here as it's taking a ton of damage to the front end. And the sheriff is unrelenting.
Control board hits now.
Yep. Shock therapy is being shocked by the bottom of the table Spiderwolves here. has the control, has the aggression. I think it's using the pistons to absorb these impacts, so it doesn't take too much chassis damage. But Sheriff's Secret Police getting control board hits on shock therapy. Shock therapy pushes the sheriff back into one of the grinders.
But it gets knocked out anyway.
112 left, and Night Vale has 6 points to nothing over the lads. Welcome to the zone, where normal things don't happen very often.
Okay. Weird.
How often are you going to hear this sentence? The Night Vale Spiderwolves can't lose now.
More often than I thought we would ever hear.
Yes. This is a team of robots that was built on a laptop that overheated every 5 minutes.
Yep.
And here they are leading 6-0 over some of the best Robot Arena 2 players still in the game.
Yeah.
Remember when we all feared the lads?
That was a nice 5 minutes.
During the reveal stream, it was great. Everybody forgot about the lads. Like, this team's going to be great, that team's going to be great. And then we dropped the lads on them, and they're like, oh no, we're all screwed.
Oh, apparently not.
Feels like a long time ago that everybody thought they were screwed. So, heavyweight time. The lads have Toka Chad. It's a rear hinge flipper, damaging components all over the wedge to protect it, and also to do a little bit of damage. Sneaky good.
Yeah.
Night Vale Spiderwolves bring Koshek. Side axes, overhead axe, no stinging tail like cats normally have.
Yeah.
But can deal a lot of damage if it can get a hold of something in front of it. Chat, predictions for Toka Chad versus Koshek.
Yeah, Toka Chad doesn't score very high number of points, but it wins a lot.
Yes. Mortmore asks if cats have stinging tails. Of course they do. This is Night Vale.
Why wouldn't they?
Chat's on Koshek's side.
I'm not even going to wager a guess when Night Vale is in the arena.
Who knows what can happen here? This is going to be like that episode our sister keeps telling us about that's just relentless amounts of blood. Koshek swings, gets lifted into the air, but is stayed in front of Toka Chad and is swinging away with those side axes. Lost one of them to the defensive work on Toka Chad, but look at the smoke coming out of Toka Chad's chassis now. And it's KO'd in 19 seconds.
What the fuck? What's happening? Okay.
Of all of the upsets that I've seen,
All right, great.
this is the upsettiest of them.
What's even happening?
There's going to be a lot of upset people in RE2C.
They're going to nuke us, I swear.
Oh my goodness. This is the equivalent of the armchair engineers shutting out, like, Orlando or Meta.
Yeah.
Like,
If you listen closely, you can hear Rookie K losing her shit right now.
yes. Yep, definitely hear it.
Yep, you can definitely hear it from here.
One final fight in this completely one-sided, perfect match so far for Night Vale.
What the fuck?
Actually, if Rhino loses to Glow Cloud,
Oh my god.
if Glow Cloud gets to KO,
That might be the end of our A2C. That might be the solution.
They'll have to shut down the whole server.
That's it.
Okay. The lads have Rhino. It is 2 overhead axes. Very long. It reaches out and gets stuff that it keeps in front of its plows. Night Veil Spiderwolves have Glow Cloud. Horizontal saw blade spinner. Vertical saw blades in there that aren't supposed to do damage, but they still do. Protective armor against the floor, which is lower than wedges somehow. Ladies and gentlemen, Glow Cloud versus Rhino. What do we predict will happen? I want Glow Cloud to win by KO just for the
incredible.
Scenes. Actually, a lot of chat is cheering for Glow Cloud to win this one.
Oh man.
I think Razor259 is the only one cheering for Rhino. Oh no, there's a couple of others.
I mean, Razor is currently last in his division behind the Spiderwolves, so...
Okay, Spiderwolves, how many more points do you got in you? Rhino charges in, gets underneath Glow Cloud, and is stabbing away at the top of it. And this is going to be a classic, efficient Rhino KO in 9 seconds.
Yep. Well...
So that went as predicted, but Night Veil still get the win, 9-3.
If only.
Oh, Rhino's trying to get its DPS back up. See, what happened is the Glow Cloud drifted out of the zone.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Into the zone where normal things happen often. Alright. Another match. We've got 4 remaining. Up next is Sinister Creations.
Ah, yes.
Against the Egyptian Legends.
Sinister still number 1 in their division.
Have never relinquished number 1 since the beginning of the season.
Although, after that victory, Night Veil is only 3 points behind them. Oh god.
What does the world come to? So, Sinister Creations has Cavity Search in the lightweights. It is a vertical drill spinner mounted up high. It kind of tips forward and stabs things. It's facing definitely not Tut-Tut with the overhead pickaxe weapon. What do we predict, chat? I think we're going to have a lot of weapon to weapon here. I think definitely not Tut-Tut's going to swing directly into that drill.
I think there's going to be a lot of people falling over too.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. Both of these robots are known for being a little bit top heavy. Ghost says it's been rough for the Legends. It absolutely has been. The Legends are a nice looking team. They're pretty decent, but
they got shut out by the lads last week.
They kind of having some Collier's luck, which is facing good teams. Looks like chat's mainly predicting Cavity Search. Fair if you're predicting definitely not Tut-Tut. It's pretty split. Could go either way. Let's get the match started. Cavity Search is so tiny. Compared to definitely not Tut-Tut, who's trying to snipe that weapon off right away.
Getting close. Oh no.
Oh, it knocked itself over off the top of the drill, and Cavity Search is trying to press home its advantage here while definitely not Tut-Tut is struggling to self-right, and it has done so now. And Cavity Search has it pinned to the wall, and now is carving up that chassis on the rear of definitely not Tut-Tut, but Cavity Search has gone up the wedge, and now Cavity Search has been knocked over.
Oh, what a clever strategy, turning around when you're upside down.
So, definitely not Tut-Tut swung the axe into the drill, and it was just lopped straight off, and now Cavity Search has got to try to operate inverted against a wedge bot.
It's very awkward when it's upside down. Oh, now it's back upright, okay.
Managed to get back upright somehow, as definitely not Tut-Tut tries to press against Cavity Search. Cavity Search is going to back out of the corner, and they're going to come back together. Definitely not Tut Tut. Does not have the wedging ability to get underneath. Kind of stalemating. Well then. Cavity Search's weapon up too high
Yeah, unfortunately.
to make contact with definitely not Tut Tut. It's great to defend against overhead attacks, not great to do attacking itself. Well, Cavity Search has gone up the wedge of definitely not Tut Tut and is being pressed back.
And definitely not Tut Tut steep enough to get it to fall over.
Yes, it is. So now Cavity Search is the one being pushed around. Trying to right itself. It's been pressed into the wall by definitely not Tut Tut. He's going to push it over there and keep it against the wall. Cavity Search desperately trying to avoid being pushed into the grinder, and it looks like it's going to do so. Definitely not Tut Tut is not going to give up that easy. Try to make use of the arena hazards where it can, but it's taking chassis damage every time it runs in and hits that drill. 30 seconds to go, and the drill is doing some damage to definitely not Tut Tut.
Cavity Search is running out of power though.
It is. Cavity Search can barely move. And there's 10 seconds to go. Cavity Search has to break a TKO
Can
count.
it? I don't know if it can.
It's
it
driven
did.
over the corner of definitely not Tut Tut and managed to do so, and that is a judge's decision to start this match. Judges will be busy this week. Little wait time. Sinister Creations has Cycloid. It is powerful, damaging, double side axes. Very good robot last season. Doing okay this season. It's up against Toth's Wisdom, which is a rammer in the shape of an H with spikes on the front corners. Not as powerful a drive as a lot of other rammers, but persistent. Chat, Cycloid or Toth's Wisdom? Who do you predict? Ashland's saying loving judges' decisions for the other teams because it means a higher chance for Ashland's team to climb up the standings. Yeah, even if Sinister wins that last fight, it's only 1 point. Not a good way to stay on top. A lot of chat on Toth's side here. Okay, what do you got, Toth's Wisdom? Have you shared it with the chat? They both come bouncing out. Cycloid trying to attack Toth's Wisdom, but just attacking the spikes on the corners. As Toth pushes Cycloid back to the wall. Just repeatedly ramming in. Actually broke the left side axe right off of Cycloid. And look at the damage that's coming out of Cycloid now. Black smoke pouring from Cycloid. It's broken some spikes off of Toth's Wisdom, I think.
Yeah, got one.
And
oh no!
A perfectly well-timed charge by Toth's Wisdom has broken wheels off of Cycloid now. So yes, Toth's Wisdom has shared its wisdom with the chat. And Cycloid is falling to pieces here against the Egyptians. As Toth's Wisdom charges into Cycloid, it's trying everything it can to avoid the grinder, and Toth's Wisdom is going to put it right on top of it. Is it going to get the knockout, or is it going to take a TKO? It's going to take a knockout if it can get it here. Cycloid's got 3, and there's the KO. 65 seconds. Big 3 points for the Egyptian Legends. over the team leading their division. How many more points can the Legends get? Well, we're about to find out. Okay. Sinister Creations is Omnipresence in the heavyweights. Sit and Spin Flail Thwackbot. Lighter weight version of Death Penalty that we saw earlier on YouTube, pretty much. A little bit more defensive work to the chassis, though, in case it loses its weapon.
Yeah.
The Egyptian Legends have the Nile King. It is a rear hinge flipper with a bunch of rear hinge flipping spikes. If it can get under Omnipresence quickly, it can neutralize a spinning attack. If it can't, it's got very vulnerable sides. So, chat, what are we predicting for Omnipresence versus the Nile King? Callison, glad they stopped themselves from saying, I'll drink a root beer if Tots Wisdom wins, because then they would have been doomed to drinking root beer. I like root beer in certain circumstances. It's not something that I would drink just normally, but like a treat once in a while in the summer, or like with ice cream. Root beer's
With
not
ice
bad.
cream, yeah, I can see that. Otherwise, it's just kind of eh.
Root beer floats are tasty. There might be a robot on Magnums team next season. Root beer float.
That'd be pretty cool.
Well, those who have predicted in chat have predicted Nile.
I don't blame him.
Okay. Is this the Legends week?
Could be.
Does the King have omnipresent perception?
It's getting there.
It's gotten underneath Omnipresence. It's getting it stopped. Omnipresence
now
up to speed. And the Nile King not quite able to get deep enough underneath to stop it, although it has stopped it. One flail broken off. Oh, okay. That's physics.
That was physics, yeah. That was definitely physics.
I wasn't sure if it was physics or not, but that was definitely physics.
Yeah, that was weird.
Gonna restart it. So here comes the Nile King and tosses
right in there.
Omnipresence up into the air. Omnipresence up to speed, losing flails to the Nile King, who's got to right itself. Oh, but it lost a wheel while righting itself. Unlucky and unfortunate. And now a weakness of Sit-and Spinners is they don't have the ability to go chase down KOs. Gotta rely on Nile King. Oh, they've driven right over the Nile King. So now Nile King attacking the underside of those weapons, not able to take any off though. And Omnipresence gonna get right back up to speed. Nile King misfires a flip, trying to get more of those flails off and just take a tremendous amount of damage. Parts go flying, and that's a knockout and 2:14 left. Very, very fortunate timing
Yeah, that was very lucky.
for Omnipresence to get that wheel off while the Nile King was self-righting.
Nile King's perception was not quite omnipresent. Unlucky.
Not quite. That wheel cost Nile King. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That was what did it. So far the teams are tied 3-3, and there's a pending judge's decision.
Yep.
So there's 1 point in this match. Sinister Creations brings Eldritch Horror. Rear hinge, front hinge, and side hinge flippers all in one. It's like a bear trap kind of a weapon. The Egyptian Legends have Anubis, 2 front and back angled spinners, classified both horizontal and vertical. Anubis can do a lot of damage.
It's very resilient as well.
Absolutely very resilient. It can do damage from a lot of different angles, whether it gets flipped or not. So, what does chat think is going to happen with Anubis and Eldritch Horror? One of the things I've noticed with Eldritch Horror is things get next to its, curved front nose, and it misfires.
Yeah, it sucks at timing its flips. Misfires very often.
Anubis has a lot of stuff sticking out from its controller misfires, so... Chat is leaning towards Anubis, but is pretty close between Eldritch Horror and Anubis. Is Anubis and Eldritch Horror?
I don't think so.
Sounds like a question for a Dungeon Master.
I think Eldritch Horror is technically Cthulhu, so Egyptian god versus Cthulhu is kind of neat.
Yeah, God versus God here. Or is it hieroglyphic versus rulebook?
Undead City.
Well, Anubis got briefly caught on the wall, and that's allowed Eldritch Horror to get underneath Anubis, but it's run itself into the wall, and Anubis has taken advantage and gotten a hit on its wheels. So Anubis' front weapon is stalled, doing damage to the flipping arms of Eldritch Horror, who has now gotten underneath Anubis. Not able to do much with it, though, as Anubis is striking away with that front spinner, using those front armor pieces to absorb the blows nicely, although Eldritch Horror has gotten Anubis up onto the grinder.
That was a huge hit on the bottom.
Destroying the bottom end of Anubis, who's struggling to get down and is getting that front weapon back into play. Eldritch Horror runs itself underneath Anubis again. It's going to go back to clawing at the underside. Anubis is more hitting flipping arms than it is hitting chassis. And that's going to be the knockout for the Eldritch Horror in 65 seconds.
Yeah, the rear hinges were under there just getting those hits. I didn't even see that.
So that wins the match for Sinister Creations. They were down early, but they got it back. Well, chat, thank you for joining us here on Twitch. Thank you, Twitchers. I think we should take our break. My voice is getting really raspy.
Mine has been awful.
Yours is already fucked.
Yeah.
We have 3 matches remaining, but I think we're going to take our midstream break here. Because I've just been talking nonstop for the last couple of hours.
Yeah, like I can't pop it any more than I already am.
So, that is what we're going to do. We're going to thank our Patreon stream sponsors once again for making this stream possible on any streaming platform it ends up on. We're going to take our 10-minute break right now between these matches. We have 3 matches remaining.
4.
4 matches?
That was match 12.
Okay, 4 matches remaining. Permanganate and No Beanie coming up after the break. So, thank you everybody for being here, and we will be back in about 10 minutes. We back.
We back, baby.
Hello.
Greetings.
We are back for the final 4 matches of Week 7 of the Robot Rampage League. It has been a marathon.
Yeah, been a bit of a shit show. Honestly, we would expect it to be any other way.
I always say there is no such thing as a live stream that does not have technical problems.
Yes.
Most of our technical problems are along the lines of like, oh, we forgot to unmute something. This time it was just like, oh no, none of the technology works. Bye.
Yeah.
So we are on to hour 5 with 4 matches remaining. And a lot of judges' decisions to go still. Excellent. All right. Thank you for being here with us, everyone. We appreciate it. It is your entertainment, especially all of you discussing things in the chat. It makes this so entertaining for us and makes it fun for us to do. Otherwise, we wouldn't want to do this.
Yeah.
5-hour-long streams is a long time to do commentary for, so thank you all for your support. And, of course, especially to the support of the people from Patreon. Let's get the last 4 matches underway. We can finally have reached the end of this indeed long.
One caveat I'd say is that Twitch has been pretty stable and consistent so far.
Yeah.
It's just a shame you don't have the following on Twitch. You have it on YouTube. So,
Yeah.
you know, obviously the people who follow this league religiously and are a part of it will show up and watch this, but other subscribers aren't going to be here to see it.
There's no discovery on Twitch.
No,
Nobody's going to be like, I've never heard of this. Let me watch it.
Yeah, like you have to have the fan base come over to see it.
Every person that I follow in the gaming world makes their audience on YouTube and then tells them to go watch Twitch.
Yep. I can only think of like a handful that did it on Twitch, but it's because they had the fan base to then build off of.
Yeah. So, all right. Permanganate versus No Beanie Robotics is our next match. We have Chloe the Crustacean in the lightweights for Team Permanganate. It is 2 Warpick side axes. It's facing non-binary Star, the double front hinge flipper from No Beanie Robotics, with the non-binary colors on the Indies. So, chat, we have Chloe and non-binary Star. What do you think? Who do you predict to win? Let's hope YouTube behaves next week. Yeah, it'd be a lot easier to just stream through on YouTube than to go back and forth with this.
Let's hope I can actually talk next week.
You'll
see.
by yourself.
That's fine. Worst case scenario, it's an ASMR stream.
ASMR of whatever your voice sounds like now.
Pretty much, yeah.
Background music's drowning out Mike. No, Mike's just talking quietly. Everybody's on Chloe's side, so let's go. And Chloe kind of fell forward onto non-binary Star and took a big shot to the front end, but now non-binary Star is on top of the front end of Chloe. They're both swinging away at each other, neither of them really making any contact with the other. Non-binary Star is going to back away and end up underneath Chloe, but it's taking big blows from those side axes. Chloe doing a lot of damage to non-binary Stars. It's being pushed back towards the wall.
Oh, hello.
Yep, that's a lot of damage that non-binary Star is taking in this attempt to get Chloe over to the grinder. And I think it's just going to be one more big hit that Chloe needs. Non-binary Star is going to try and hold Chloe against the wall to stop it from getting that hit. Ooh, lands some hits of its own. Non-binary Star trying to control where and how Chloe can hit it, and it's going to try and push Chloe back to the grinder.
Oh,
but
unlucky.
Took the KO shot, was not able to withstand the power of the crab. That is 3 points for the chemists of Team Permanganate. Middleweight time. Very worried of a death by grinder there. Yeah, that was non-binary star's plan. Just didn't have the drive power left to make use of it. Okay, the middleweights. Team Permanganate has Quasar with the vertical drum spinner in the front, kind of tapered on one end because of the sword components used to make it. No Beanie Robotics has remote control with the 4 piston poking spikes that come out of the center of the remote. Chat, what's your predictions for Quasar versus remote control? Quasar, if it isn't drunk per usual. Well, stop giving Quasar all of your weird chemicals. Razor259 says he won't call it a lawnmower anymore if it wins.
Because I can't talk.
Yeah, you're just gonna put your predictions in the
chat.
That works. Inaba says Quasar's inhaled too much space dust. Well, chat still thinks Quasar's got the advantage. Let's find out if it can hold up to the piston poking power of the remote control, who's gone right over the top of Quasar's vertical spinning drum device and has once again done so. So Quasar is acting as a vertical lifting device once again and taking control of the fight and running remote control over into the grinder. Although Quasar is stuck against the grinder trying to get free, it's knocked remote control over, and remote control's used its pistons to get free. Very clever use of the weapon. They're both kind of stuck to each other at the moment. We'll see if they can get free from here. Quasar's going to reverse under remote control. Beautiful move.
Incredible.
To get remote control back in front. And now the remote control is upside down, and I don't think it can drive inverted. It's trying to eat the grinder, though. That's not fair. Please do not destroy our arena hazards. Quasar is going to punish remote control for doing so. And Quasar's kind of stuck. It's gotten free from remote control. And it looks like it's going to take a TKO here if remote control cannot get down. Yep, 141 left. 2 points to Quasar. And the chemists of Team Permanganate have a 5-0 lead. It is possible for No Beanie to come back and win.
Yeah.
You guys are talking quieter. Can you get the volume dropped a smidge? Let me see what I can do for you.
See if we can just lower the music a little bit. Don't be too bad.
How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, we'll see if it is. It should be a little bit better at least.
Hopefully that's better. Wow, the microphone's not as sensitive as it used to be for some reason. I don't get it.
Oh.
I might be able to adjust that.
Yeah, from what they're saying, it's better right now at least. So.
Yeah, I might have adjusted my microphone a little bit ago.
Very cool.
using the correct microphone.
Yeah, it looks fine, so...
So,
It could have just been because we were talking quieter, I don't know.
yeah, a little bit of both.
They're saying it's sounding fine now, though, so I think we're okay.
Yeah. All right, we'll go back into the fights.
If we need to adjust it next week, it's fine.
You're on to heavyweights. Next. There we are. Birdhouse voice is shot. It's been shot all day. All right. So, Team Permanganate of the Chemists has Roadman in the heavyweights. It is a vertical saw spinner, classified differently to regular spinners because saw blades don't do massive hits of damage at once. They do it steady over time. No Beanie Robotics has Phobos and Demos, the multi-bot pair. Phobos with the rear hinged flippers, Demos with the 360-degree horizontal spinner. They've not been as good as we thought they were going to be at first. Then again, they've also not had good matchups. Can Roadman handle being attacked multiple directions at once? It's had good ground game from the front, but we haven't seen it tested from different directions before. So, chat, what do you think?
For being a spinner, Demos hasn't really done a whole lot.
Mm-hmm. Well, it got locked to Phobos.
That too.
Boy is saying, it's been a strange stream. Damn right, it's been a strange stream. We have entered the zone where normal things don't happen very often, and chat is split on who's gonna win. Let's see how this goes. Permanganate with a 5-point lead.
Oh.
Wow, Roadman just flipped Demos over with no issue.
Maybe that's the strat.
It's ended up on top of Phobos, who's swinging away at some of the saw blades. Because of how narrow Phobos' front end is, Roadman's not really able to bring the saws to bear as easily as some of its opponents, but it is getting the saw blades in there. And it's going to push Phobos back. Wow, what a flip by Phobos has totally knocked Roadman over.
That might have been physics, hang on.
Roadman running upside down now.
Yeah, that was physics.
That was physics?
That was physics.
Okay.
The way it got pulled over, that was not Phobos doing that.
Well, we're going to restart it. Because that did seem odd.
Yeah, 'cause I know, like, Phobos does not have the power to flip something over that easily.
So here we go. Roadman's going to charge into Demos and lift it, but going to get lifted from behind by Phobos, who's just thrown it straight back, and now Roadman's going to get flipped over by physics again.
Yeah, that's what that was. It's the spikes intermeshing.
Yeah. Big charge from Roadman into Demos, and Phobos comes in and props them both into the air.
Interesting.
That was interesting kind of attack from Phobos. Neither of these robots are able to make much use of anything, although Demos has gotten up to speed, but it's been stopped right away by the saw blades of Roadman, who's just cutting up the back end of Demos at the moment. Phobos not able to get underneath. Demos flipped over and going to work its way into the grinder. Roadman is to the side of Permanganate. He's going to take a big shot to the wheel from Demos. So Demos coming in with a fantastic charge. And Roadman's trying to keep both of the mini-bots ahead of it. It's gotten around. Is it going to go after... I think it's trying to go after Demos, but its lower forks are just not allowing it to turn quickly enough.
A triple microwave, huh?
Yeah, I think we've got a triple microwave here, folks. You know, if you put too many things in the microwave at once, it takes longer to microwave. I think that's what we're going to end up here.
Importantly, a decision here would
Can you allow that chat message
Yes,
as a
sir.
wheel comes off of Roadman? Or not off of Roadman, off of Demos from Roadman. The saw blade's gradually grinding away at Demos. With less than a minute 20 remaining. He's still dealing damage to the side. Yeah, apparently so. But only one saw blade cutting up at a time, and it's not going to get any kind of control board hits with that. Roadman does seem to be getting a little bit more free of the pair than it had been when it started this. Dogpile. I think that's actually the strategy, is a dogpile for the multi-bot pair. They're trying to shut this down so that Roadman doesn't obliterate them. Because if it could get free from both of them, it could absolutely take control. Leafeon, welcome to being a Twitcher. As we wait for the last 20 seconds of this triple microwave to end. And there's a judge's decision. $19.95 for Roadman. That was a good year.
year before Twister came out. That's the only thing I know about 95.
I think that was when all of my Weather Channel VHS tapes came out. So, that wins the match for Team Permanganate. They had 5 points, and there's only 1 point for this judge's decision, whoever it goes to.
Good news for Sinister.
Yeah, and they didn't do so well, and No Beanie's not doing so well either. Although they can get some points back here. Well, Team Permanganate brings Permanganate. It is a well-armored, four-wheel drive, overhead pickaxe robot. It's fighting No Beanie Robotics' Ace of Spades in the Ace colors. It has 8 axes. 4 from the side, 4 from above. It can kill things quickly, but it's too slow to bring it all to bear at once. So, chat. Permanganate against Ace of Spades. Where do you expect this one to go? You're typing up your predictions because
Can't really talk.
you're basically Stephen Hawking at this point. You have to type everything. Me57 saying it depends on how high Ace jumps. Lot predicting permanent. Actually, chat's pretty split between the two. So let's find out. Both of these robots have kind of a mixed record so far. Permanganate charges in. They've not really, neither's gotten under the other. Ace not really able to get all of the axes into play, but it's breaking off some of the armor off of Permanganate. And look at the damage it's doing to the chassis now that it's gotten deep under there, and Permanganate's going to back out of there. Ace is stuck to all the debris, but that's not going to matter. Ace with the KO, it was able to get deep enough in to get the hits. Well, at worst, that's 5-4 win for Permanganate. Possibly 6-3, depending on the judge's decision. Ace of Spades is ace, absolutely.
Good song, by the way.
You sound like the guy who sang it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, our next match is the New York City Pride up against Plan Z. The Zeds. So, Pride team against the end of the alphabet. Chats. Here we have Bicerabot for the New York City Pride. It is a two-forked rear-hinged flipper representing the bicolors, and Plan Z has Geohash, also a rear-hinged flipper using a snowplow as a big scoop. Geohash has been surprisingly good this season. Bicerabot has been surprisingly bad. What do you predict is going to happen between these two rear-hinged flippers, chat? Razor259 pointing out that Bicerabot cannot self-write. Neither can Geohash, but Geohash can run upside down, and Bicerabot, I don't think, can. Most of chat seems to be on Geohash's side. It has gotten some really fun fights so far this season, despite how simple it is. So let's see what Geohash has for Bicerabot here. Oh, Geohash collided with the forks and just fell right over, and Bicerabot's gotten Geohash up in the air. Geohash getting Bicerabot up in the air and totally upside down now. It's just using its weight to hold Bicerabot down and stop it from righting itself. I don't think it could if it tried, but Geohash making sure it doesn't happen. And there's the TKO count happening for Bicerabot, who just cannot get up from that position. And Geohash going to take the nice 32-second TKO. No need to risk any further damage. And you got a nice easy TKO over a robot that cannot self-right. And that's why you put a flipper in the lightweights. So it becomes middleweight time. Geohash doesn't care about damage points, it only cares about winning.
It's the actual most try-hardy robot, little do we know.
The most efficient robot ever wins without even scoring damage. Okay. The New York City Pride in the middleweights have Panther representing the Pan Pride colors. It is a fast four-wheel drive, aggressive ramming box. It's facing Planetary Conqueror on Plan Z. It is a overhead bar spinner. It has a little bit of defense up front this season. Predictions for Panther versus Planetary Conqueror, please. These two, despite both being in Season 1, never fought because they were in different weight classes before. So it'll be interesting to see how they match up here together. How did Planetary Conqueror do against Sledge and Gizmo?
I think it beat both of them.
Sounds like it would have beaten both of them.
But this year's Conqueror is not very good.
More being conquered.
Yeah.
Warden's follower says Geohash is strictly a pacifist. You're not wrong. Geohashing is a very non-threatening hobby. So, Razor says if Marauder can get a Sludgefest on Panther, so can Planetary Conqueror. Let's find out. Panther charges ahead. bounces and spins over the wall for a Sludge Fest. That is a ring out to Planetary Conqueror's name. And Plan Z is leading 4-0 over the New York City Pride. Sludgefest quota met for the day, absolutely. Gotta get at least one or it's not a RRL stream. Oh my.
Oh fuck.
We could be following it up. They could just be trading Sludgefests here. The New York City Pride have Transfusion, still unbeaten. It has 3 front hinge flippers. 4-wheel drive, pretty powerful. Great ground game. It's facing Mad Train from Plan Z, which is a 6-wheel drive, fast and aggressive ramming box with a battering ram of axe heads on the front. Chats. Transfusion against Mad Train. What do we expect? Wolby expects it to be the most pacifist shutout. No, not if Transfusion has its way. What's better than a Sludgefest? 2 Sludgefests. 2 Sludgefests in one match. How many? What's the record for Sludgefests in a match?
I don't know.
That's something that we got to do some research on. Well, chat clearly wants a Sludgefest, although Leafeon is calling a Blood Eagle. It could happen. 1 or 2 hit KO to a chassis wedge. RRL pacifist percent. Alright, here we go, chat. Let's see what happens. Mad Train, will you stay in the ring? Or will you fly out like a mad train? It's bounced off the front of Transfusion's wedge. Probably caused a ton of damage, but Transfusion's thrown Mad Train into the grinder. And about 10 feet into the air, Mad Train is now smoking heavily from the damage it's taking from those flipping spikes. Oh, but it's going to charge into the side of Transfusion and break off one of those burst wedges. And now Transfusion struggling to get under Mad Train, but it got the KO flip. 25 seconds. Transfusion was sweating a little bit there when Mad Train got to its side. Exposed drive motors, exposed chassis. I mean, it took 1,400 points of damage to the chassis, so... Well, this is a 4-3 match. Plan Z is leading 4-3, and anything but a judge's decision, any win except a judge's decision, and New York City can win this. So they have Friendly Fire in the super heavyweights, double vertical spinner, 4-wheel drive, aggressive. Plan Z also has a vertical spinner in the super heavyweights, giant enemy crab with 2 of the spike strip drums on the front end. Neither robot particularly good at driving upside down. In fact, I don't think giant enemy crab can. So, chat, Friendly Fire or giant enemy crab? What are we expecting between these 2 vertical spinners? Plan Z needs to push a decision to possibly, to at least not lose. But basically comes down to whichever robot wins the fight is going to win the match. Two 4-wheel drive verts at modern BattleBots history. Pretty much. Razor259 says that Crab has a wider attack area. That is absolutely true. Here we go. Chat seems to be split between these 2. A big collision has Friendly Fire jumping in the air. I think it has the reach over Giant Enemy Crab, but Giant Enemy Crab has landed hits to the motors of Friendly Fire's weapon. Kind of going right between the two drums is Friendly Fire. They are touching tips at the moment. Not something that would be advised against a crab. Friendly Fire pouring smoke. Giant Enemy Crab takes both of the spinners off of Friendly Fire in one blow. And now Friendly Fire is just absolutely weaponless and flailing around. It has the drive power advantage, apparently, over Giant Enemy Crab as it's charging in. And it's causing damage to the motors on Giant Enemy Crab. It has smoke coming from those weapon motors. Friendly Fire just ramming the crab, hoping for the best, trying to push it along the wall. Another big charge from Friendly Fire has flipped it over. It can drive inverted on those rear wheels, which is why they're so big, but it has lost a lot of its drive power here. Giant Enemy Crab looking unfazed by this whole situation as it takes a wheel off of Friendly Fire and another. So Friendly Fire is coming apart here in this fight as Giant Enemy Crab attacks, and physics kind of bounce them around a little bit. We're going to let it continue for the time being. Giant Enemy Crab attacking. Oh, wow. All of the wheels off of Friendly Fire. It's pressed into the grinder as well. Giant Enemy Crab trying to get the KO, but if it gets the 2 points, they'll still win the match. There's nothing Friendly Fire can do to escape. This is not a pin. And so if this goes to a TKO, it will still be official. 1:05 left on the clock. That is Giant Enemy Crab winning by TKO. With a lot of damage points. And that is Plan Z with a 6-3 win, scoring only 2-point wins in all three of their fights that they won.
Halifax Supernova Special.
Yeah. That was completely unexpected. Yeah, that was a good win for Giant Enemy Crab. Very cool. Okay, 2 matches remaining. And we are going all the way to Hell for this one. Hell, of course, being in Texas. This is the Perth Hellrazers against Team Sanctuary. Thought Hell was in Michigan. No, Michigan's not passing bullshit transphobic laws. So, all right, the Hellrazers have Stone Imp in the lightweights. It is a vertical spinner, similar to VSSV, but does not have the winning record of VSSV so far, but has a lot of good points. It's kind of the main point scorer of the Hellrazers at the moment. Team Sanctuary has Excavator. It is an overhead claw axe style weapon on a sloped wedge chassis, and it's got some wheel defense as well. Chat, predictions for Stone Imp versus Excavator, please. Leafeon saying they got a good win and really had to work for it. Yeah, your team did good at Leafeon. You picked some pretty capable robots when they're not facing the best teams in the league. Chat is on Stone Imp's side against Excavator here. So let's see if that turns out to be the case. Chat does seem to know more things about this league than us. Stone Imp comes charging in. It takes a blow directly from the axe claw of Excavator and has its own weapon stalled as Excavator just claws away, hoping to get that disc off. But Stone Imp getting to the side now of the front wedge, and it's broken the claw right off with the spinner. So now Excavator trying to exercise any control it can, and what a perfect drive under the rear of Stone Imp while it was balanced on its front end. And so now Excavator has full control over Stone Imp here. Just holding it against the wall, not allowing Stone Imp to attack in response. So Stone Imp, it's broken the wedge component off the front end of Excavator. Not able to really get hold of the chassis of Excavator here. This Excavator breaks free from a count. Stone Imp going to charge in again and again, end up on its face. Excavator is going to charge in for some aggression and control and pin the Stone Imp to the wall. So Excavator being a fantastic control bot in this fight so far, as Stone Imp struggles to get free from the wall. This is absolutely a pin, but Stone Imp is able to get free, and it is going to punish Excavator for the rude pin against the wall. Or is it not going to be able to get there? Digging that weapon into the top of Excavator, but not able to get the last control board hit as it's pressed into the wall once again. There's the knockout. 109 remaining, and Perth has the 3-point lead. Okay, so Hellrazers have the lead going into the middleweights, where they face an undefeated robot. Oh boy. So, the middleweights, the Perth Hellrazers have Marauder. It is a horizontal spinner on the front end of this robot. Marauder's not as mobile as it would like to be. It has trouble keeping mobility. Team Sanctuary has RRL, the rear hinge flipper, undefeated so far with 6 straight wins. It's the main point scorer on Team Sanctuary, and it's facing one of the robots on Hellrazers that doesn't score many points. Chat, what do we predict to be the result of this fight?
I think we might maintain one more undefeated robot.
Yeah, chat seems to think that as well. RRL to take it is chat's prediction. So here we go. As Marauder gets its weapon up to speed, RRL charges underneath it, stalls it, lifts Marauder onto its back, and tosses it through the air. Now RRL pushing Marauder and not allowing it to spin around and get that weapon into play. Smoke is pouring out of Marauder's weapon as it's struggling to move at all, as RRL keeps it off of the floor. Wow, big hit to the chassis from those spiked flipping arms, and Marauder is KO'd in 31 seconds. And Team Sanctuary ties the match right back up. Permission to swap out Marauder. Hey, if Captain Mantine is not allowed to swap out his robots mid-season, then neither are you. Okay, heavyweight time. Tied match. The Hellrazers have Revenant. It has 2 overhead pickaxes as its weapons, and it's got some claws on the side to keep its opponents ahead of it. Not doing great this season, but gotten at least some wins. Team Sanctuary has Fireprints, a double vertical spinner, very similar to some robots last season that did a lot of damage and did pretty well. Fireprints has no wins. it's remarkable how poorly Fire Prince has been doing and just how unlucky it's been. Chat, what do we think between Fire Prince and Revenant here? Fire fighting fire? Zester's going with Revenant because Fire Prince is clearly cursed. Yeah, I could see that. A lot of people want to see Fire Prince win, but, I mean... It should have won a lot of fights already, and it just hasn't. It's just cursed. Let's see, chat. Let's see if Fire Prince can do it. If Fire Prince didn't have bad luck, it wouldn't have any luck at all, says Voya. Well, here comes Fire Prince getting flipped forward by Revenant, who attacks the spinning weapons and is running Fire Prince over into the wall. Fire Prince has managed to get down and ripped one of the axes clean off. Revenant is trying to bring the other axe down into the weapon motors of Fire Prince and has successfully done so, taking the right side spinner off. Fire Prince unable to make great use of the left side one. It's broken Revenant's front armor off, though. Trying to get underneath Revenant, and Revenant is landing blows to the chassis of Fire Prince. Both of them scoring major damage here, but it looks like Revenant is the one leading in damage as Fire Prince backs itself into the grinder and is now trying to run under Revenant and has totally flipped Revenant over. And Fire Prince is going to do a spin to celebrate. Don't celebrate too soon, Fire Prince. Revenant unable to move upside down like this. If Fire Prince is going to take a KO, it's probably going to have to back off. Now it's going to sit here and it's going to take the TKO here. It's not impeding Revenant because Revenant's not able to move. 140 left. That is going to be a TKO for Fire Prince at last. Yet another robot gets its first win this stream. Well, this week. There's been a lot of streams this week. Alright, and so the Hellrazers are leading 5-3. Is the curse broken? No, I think it's just that Fire Prince is unable to win on YouTube and can only win on Twitch. I think that's what it is. Moving on to the final fight of the match, we have a mirror match. Spider-Man pointing at himself meme. Sanctuary's up 5-3, excuse me.
Correct.
The robot has fire in its name. What do you expect? Okay, the Hellrazers have the Baron of Hell. It is 6-wheel drive, aggressive, pushy rammer with a little bit of a rear hinge lifter in the front. Team Sanctuary has Comatose, 6-wheel drive, fast, aggressive box rammer with a rack of spikes on the front. What does chat predict between these two similar robots? Razor259 is predicting the Baron to get his face smashed in. I don't know how it's going to go, because Baron of Hell's pretty durable, but it's easier to get high-centered. Comatose doesn't have great armor, though.
Comatose is very patient for a rammer, too. It tends to outlast opponents and then kill it once its armor's weak.
This is true.
So.
Well, chat is... I think they're split. Chat is split. Much like your voice. Let's find out the end of this match between these two very similar robots. They both meet in the middle, and Comatose has the drive advantage to start, ramming away at the front end of Baron of Hell, locking onto those horns, but Baron of Hell has the lifter to get underneath. It can control Comatose if it gets the lifter into play. Comatose is reversed into the grinder and lost a wheel. So now it has lost its ability to drive in a straight line, and that could be critical as they get their spikes all wedged together. Baron of Hell trying to make use of that rear hinged lifting device. Yeah, Comatose just not able to go in the straight line that it wants to, and that's allowed Baron of Hell to come in for another attack. Baron of Hell being very cautious. Not like a Baron of Hell here. Although it's... Every time Baron of Hell gets somewhere where it can attack Comatose, it backs away as Comatose pushes it briefly into the grinder. Oh, there's a good attack to the wheels of Comatose, and then the Baron of Hell summons the forces of Hell to throw Comatose into a coma. So we restart. Comatose locking horns with the Baron of Hell to start off with this one. Both of them bouncing over the uneven floor. Neither of them with the advantage, although Baron of Hell trying to use that rear hinge lifter to break Comatose's traction. It ran Comatose into the grinder to no noticeable effect. Oh, but Comatose got to the side of Baron of Hell, who's gotten underneath Comatose and has it on control board hits. Wow. So that rear hinge lifter and those horn spikes are absolutely tearing Comatose apart, taking the whole lower rack of spikes off of Comatose. And Comatose is going to try and ram Baron of Hell back into the wall. Baron of Hell's taking a ton of damage to the front and to the side as it's losing some of its horns. So Baron of Hell's losing its weapon power here and might not be able to land the last control board hits that it needs. But it's going to run... Well, it almost ran Comatose back into the wall. I think Baron of Hell's lost its lifter. Baron of Hell's totally losing its whole front end here against Comatose, but Comatose caught a spike wrong, and that's the knockout, and Baron of Hell gets the points. So, Comatose was trying to go through the front end of Baron of Hell, and Baron of Hell was going around the weapons of Comatose and sneaking the blows in. And that's a 6-3 match win for the Hellrazers, sending Texas and all of the people in it to hell. As if they weren't already there, because it's like 130 fucking degrees. And one match remains. It is the C4 Circus and the Rotterdam Invaders. What match number is this? 16. We are on the last match, finally, after too many hours. The C4 Circus, of course, has Clown Car, the four-wheel drive rammer that is long, not wide, it is long. In the lightweights, it is facing Kang from the Rotterdam Invaders, the two side-hinged 4-pick axes. I see somebody, Electric Ray, says killer clowns from outer space. That's basically the story of this match. What do you predict between Clown Car and Kang, chat? Honestly, I think they both match up well with each other. Kang has no front armor, Clown Car has no side armor. Which is more or less what you just said.
Pretty much.
Only you used better words. Wonder if Kang has enough reach to take off the front wheels. Probably not, but it doesn't need to. It just needs to get the chassis there. Of course, chat is split quite well, because both of these robots match up well against each other. So let's start this match, this final match of the day. Clown Car with a massive ram directly down the front of Kang, and smoke pouring from Kang as it tries to bring those axes into play. I think it has landed big blows to Clown Car, but Kang is already on control board hits. It's taken a wheel off of Clown Car, though. So Kang coming back here, squishing the clown car in the front. Breaking spikes off of the front of the clown car. It's taken another control board hit charging in. But clown car unable to... Clown car on control board hits now. They're both ready for the KO. And clown car is missing its last remaining spike on the front. So this is probably... Oh no!
The ram plate.
Kang went in for the kill and got killed. That was so close. They were both on their final control board hit, and one of them had to get it. Clown car with the knockout and the 3 points for the C4 Circus. Honks in chat, please. If we end up doing this on Twitch a lot, I should have a honk emoji for chat. There's the honks in chat. Okay, middleweight time with the C4 Circus leading by 3. They have Noise Bomb in the middleweights. It is a rear hinge and a front hinge flipper. Kind of a bitey flipper. It's facing sleeve 1 exclamation point question mark. It is a overhead horizontal spinner, asymmetric spinner, similar to some of the lightweights we've seen, only with a lot more weight behind it. Chat predictions between Noise Bomb and sleeve. And chat is actually pretty split here. I see Noise Bomb, sleeve, Noise Bomb, sleeve. Sleeve's not been doing that great, but Noise Bomb has exposed sides to its chassis, and Sleeve just needs to land hits to those exposed chassis sides. Chat thinks Noise Bomb's got the advantage here, and they might be right. Noise Bomb's pretty good. Let's go and get this fight going. Noise Bomb maybe the shallowest wedge in the league. Wow, it almost scooped Sleeve straight over the wall. That was a brilliant attack by Noise Bomb. Sleeve's gotten back upright and is trying to land blows with that asymmetric spinner, but it's mainly spinning itself. As Noise Bomb throws it at the wall once again. There's those hits to the side of the chassis that I was talking about. Oh wow, Noise Bomb just broke half of the spinner straight off of Sleeve. It was just completely unbalanced now. And Noise Bomb's going to run Sleeve into the grinder and throw it through the air repeatedly, and that is a 35-second knockout. Okay, Noise Bomb. That was violent. And now, C4 Circus cannot lose. They have 6 points. 2-0 right now. As we go to the heavyweights. Zester says it was vicious. It was absolutely vicious. Swat and ass kicking, says you.
Fuck you.
All right. It is heavyweight time. The C4 Circus has random acts of violence for side axes and a saw blade spinner to boot. The only combination of side axes and saw blade spinners in anywhere in the league. It's facing Pathfinder, which is a front hinge flipper, and it has vertical spinners that pull opponents up on top of the robot. Random acts of violence doesn't have a wedge game, but saw blades are the best ground game somehow. So what do we think is going to happen between Pathfinder and random acts of violence, chat? Chat is kind of on Random Acts of Violence side. Some people are predicting for Pathfinder. Some people are asking you if you would drink tea to help with your voice. Yeah, probably would. Alright, well, let's get this heavyweight fight started and see if the Rotterdam Invaders can get some points back. It'll be a tough order. Random Acts of Violence does a lot of damage, but it's flipped itself off the front end of Pathfinder. It had a wedge stalemate with a saw blade, but has broken that wedge off now. Pathfinder just kind of aggressively shoving Random Acts of Violence into the wall and is slamming it from above and doing a ton of damage to the chassis of Random Acts of Violence. And Random Axe can't get away. It's finally done so. It's lost some axes in the process. And now Pathfinder's lost some flipping arms in the process. I think both of them. So now Pathfinder, just with those vertical spinning blades, which are not helping it out much here. In fact, they're coming apart, and Random Acts of Violence is going to get the knockout here in a second. There it is. 2:08 left. And the C4 Circus continues to rack up the points, with Random Acts of Violence padding its stats. Not only, chat, are we on Shutout Watch, we are on Perfect Shutout Watch. Okay. Last chance for the Rotterdam Invaders to get some points here. The C4 Circus, though, has Freak Show. It is a vertical drill spinner on a piston. It's a punching vertical spinner. The only weapon type like that in the league. And it's not particularly heavily damaging, but it's got a good ground game and it's got good defense up front. So Freak Show can just push fights as long as it needs to whittle away at its opponents. It's also an invertible robot. It's facing Boolean, which is the Rotterdam Invaders super heavyweight. It is a piston flipper. It has pistons mounted behind those panels which push robots out and away from it. It's gotten ring outs with them. Boolean's a pretty good robot. It's so good at ringing stuff out, it rings itself out. So chat, Freak Show or Boolean, who you got for this final fight of the stream today? There's a fair split here. Some people cheering for Boolean, some cheering for Freak Show. I don't think Freak Show can end the fight quickly, but Boolean can. So here we go, chat. Last fight of the day. Can the C4 Circus seal a perfect shutout? Or will Freak Show go up Boolean's wedge and get flipped over immediately, and Boolean's got it up against the wall? Not able to drive all the way underneath it, although it has now, and it's got Freak Show over the wall for a ring out. It tried to hold on, but Freak Show could not. And the piston flippers have another ring out. And that gives 2 points to Rotterdam and blocks the shutout. There is no shutout. Good job, Boolean. I have a bingo square waiting for me. Just a few more. What a fantastic fight from Boolean with the ring out. Blackbird says that was too freaky. Okay, chat. That was the last match, the last fight. Once again, thank you to our Patreon stream sponsors for making it possible to do the Robot Rampage League, whether it's on YouTube or on Twitch or on Discord or being streamed from rooftops. It is you who make it possible with your $10 a month contributions. It comes out to about $2.50 a stream, unless we do a stream 3 times in a day because of technical problems. Thank you all so much for your contributions. Thank you to everybody for your contributions. Sharing the stream around, getting the word out that we're on Twitch today because of technical problems. We appreciate it all. You can let us know what your favorite fights were today. We'll go through some chat a little bit while we have some time here. We had a lot of good fights. A lot of good matches, upsets. It was a good week fight-wise, if not, technical problem-wise. So, what were your favorite fights, chat? Cora says get some rest. Yeah, we're gonna go get some food. It's usually our go-to thing after these streams. Hope YouTube is fixed next week. I hope so too. It's kind of a pain in the butt to go back and forth. Yeah, the Discord. You can join the Discord. The link is on YouTube. To chat about the Robot Rampage League and see any information about building any robots for yourself. The Twitter is @RobotRampage, where we are going to put up the results of our judges' decisions and such later in the week once we get with the judges. Subscribe to the Twitch, follow the Twitch, because you never know when we might be back here again. It could be anything. Mott says, go Kevin. Baron versus Comatose was great. The Ramplate KO was funny. There were so many good moments. Getting that last second ring out from the piston flipper at the end. Leafeon sees a Sylveon. Is that because you're a Leafeon? Yeah, there's a Sylveon back here now. Matches my flag at least. So. Thank you, everybody, for being part of the stream once again. We are going to do our traditional leaving you with your schedule for next week. And you will be by yourself doing an ASMR chat next week, apparently, with your voices going. So thank you, everybody, for being part. We will see you next week for the Robot Rampage League somewhere on some streaming service. Take care.